Hey guys, good morning. This is Sean, and you're watching the Supply Chain Guy channel. I want to take today's video to walk you through a day in the life of a supply chain consultant out on the road. Typically, I wake up early in the morning around 6 a.m. and I try to go to the gym or get breakfast before going down and meeting my coworkers in the lobby around 7:30 in the morning. Typically, we try to get on the client site before 8 a.m. Now, it depends on what type of client and what industry that they're in, but we at least try to get there at the same time or earlier than the client to set that expectation that we're here to deliver results. Once we get on site, we do a team meeting going through our objectives that we're going to be focusing on that day and that we plan to deliver. Now, this typically needs to align with the overall work plan of the engagement that you're working on. So it's usually a deliverable or an output that you can put numbers around and speak to at the end of the day. After this initial meeting, for today, for example, we have our weekly report out to the client on the progress that we've made this current week and what we're going to be focusing on next week. Typically, these meetings last only about 30 minutes, where there is public speaking and you're talking to what you delivered, who you worked with, and what are the tangible results that will ultimately affect their bottom line. After this meeting, it's around 10 a.m., and here's really where the deep work begins at the client site. These are where you're focusing on those 2 to 3 deliverables that you spoke to in the beginning of the day that you committed to the team on. Usually, this revolves around, an example in today, I'm going to be developing a baseline model on how this company performed in a certain sector of their business and, establish that baseline that we're working off of. So anything that we deliver, we can tie back to dollars on the delivery side. The second thing that I'm focusing on today is I'm checking in on, progress and the initiatives that I'm working with on the cross-functional team with the client. So an example of this is you have a couple key stakeholders that you're focusing on, whether in operations, logistics, procurement, on the client side, and you're partnering with them on initiatives and updates that they're taking that committed delivery and working with their team on. So I'm going to be checking up on the progress and status of that. Lastly, we work a lot with data, and today I'll be taking some data and really investigating what type of savings potential there is in this distribution center that happens to be our current client. So we establish the baseline of how they're operating today, and then next we're looking at, what latent capacity or extra labor is there today within the facility as kind of phase one, and then phase two, we're working on those initiatives to improve the throughput, or in logistics example, could be the, delivery or contract with a transportation company. And where that lands will ultimately tie back to that baseline to show what you can deliver to the client's bottom line. So, we usually stop for lunch around 11 or 12 o'clock. Sometimes we go out as a team, but most often we just DoorDash or get some Uber Eats to the client site, which is paid for by the client. So once that deep work is done, kind of between 10 a.m. and 3 or 4 p.m., we typically wrap our days up with an end of shift call around 5:30 p.m. that you recap how you delivered to those 2 to 3 commitments in the morning, what changed, what support you may need, and then kind of focuses that tie in to the next day or the remainder of the week. Usually we get back to the hotel room around 6 p.m. Eastern or whatever time zone that you're on. And, this is where a lot of people differ in the consulting world. Traditionally, I will call my family first and check in to make sure how their day was going, considering that I'm on the road. And then next, get a bite to eat, go to the gym, usually do that for about an hour. And at that time, it's 8:30, 9 o'clock. And, I'm looking to unwind and really get away from all the computer work and talking that I've done throughout the day. And I start to transition to a Netflix or watching sports or a podcast to kind of unwind and wrap the day up. Typically, I'm trying to get to bed around 10 o'clock. That would be a good day. I am traditionally more of a night owl, but get in bed by at latest 11, wake up at 6 o'clock, rinse and repeat, usually at a client site between 3 and 4 days a week. So we're heavy travelers, about 75-80% on the road. Hope this helps, and please write any questions in the comment sections below or other material that you'd like to see that can help others in their career. Thank you, guys.